Hello, my name is Jaron Smith, and we are a jazz club. The purpose of today's presentation is to make recommendations on how the St. Ed's Music Department can increase recruitment and participation. So now I'd like to take the time to introduce my fellow team members and just briefly highlight each main point we're going to cover. Well, first I'm going to introduce our client, explain the problem that needs to be solved in a little more detail. Then Ahmed Kamal is going to be discussing how our primary research was conducted and analyzed. Then Abdullah Khalifa will be discussing how themes for our secondary research were determined and how our secondary research was conducted. Then Jeannie Russo will be discussing presenting our findings and conclusions. And lastly, Diego Marin will present our recommendations. So, as I said, we're the Jazz Club, and my name is Jaron Smith. Our client is, as you all know, Mr. Joey Colarusso of the St. Ed's Music Department. The problem facing the department is just low recruitment levels and participation levels at events, or actually just within the department itself. And yeah, that's it. So now I'm going to pass it on to Ahmed Kamal, who will be presenting our primary research.
Hi, I'm Ahmed, and I'll be talking about the primary research part of our presentation. The main goal of the primary research is to let us know what we can do to improve recruitment, and based on that, we can make our recommendations and go into our secondary research. Each member was given 40 surveys, which makes a total of 200. Of those, only one was invalid. We decided as a group to discard any invalid surveys. As for tallying, each person was responsible for tallying and organizing their own surveys. They had to separate the students from the faculty members and the graduates from the undergrads, and then we put them all together in one huge database. Results showed that students would be interested in the music departments mainly if they offered more styles of music other than jazz and mariachi. The surveys also serve their purpose of clarifying what people think. They identified the most efficient ways to attract more people to the department. By doing that, we were able to think up where we can go next from that, and what we can do to attract more students and make our recommendations. The majority or maybe half of the results might have been negative, mainly due to the lack of music department audit. Not many students knew about the music department and what they offered, or maybe where they played. Secondary research was conducted based on the survey results. We went into more detail in the secondary research. We compared other universities to our university's program based on what we thought people might have wanted to gain from the music department here because of our surveys. Now I'm going to walk you through the visual representations. Students and faculty who play music instruments, the majority do play, but the ones who don't aren't really, there's not much difference between those numbers. We also found out that the majority of students are interested in being involved in extracurricular activities. Those might not all those activities might involve music. About 54% of students or faculty we interviewed, we surveyed knew about the music department, but still like almost 98 of them didn't really know. We also surveyed and asked who was aware of the music department and what they offered when it comes to extra credits opportunities. Also about 52 only were aware of what the music department had to offer. Students and faculties that were interested in the music department, majority were not interested in directly being involved in the music department, like as in playing in the band or like that. And we also found out that majority of students would want to be involved during the weekends with the music department, whether it's listening to performances or being being part of the music department. The most convenient social media outlet, we found out that the majority wanted to gain knowledge through the Facebook, and the second largest was through SEU email, which I doubt they actually mean. Preferred locations for the music department events. It's split between Joe's Coffee Shop and auditoriums. And finally, the changes that could be made for students to consider joining the music department. The majority wanted more styles of music, as we mentioned earlier, but other students also wanted music to be offered as a major. And the most likely places on campus for students to notice posted music department information. The majority of students said they would notice if they were in bulletin boards around campus, or if they were posted in classrooms or on Joe's Coffee Shop. That's all from me. I'll hand it over to Abdullah to do the secondary research.
Thank you. My name is Abdullah, and I'm going to talk about the secondary research. We did research between TCU and LSU, and we realized in TCU they give the opportunity for students to meet with outstanding artists worldwide to give votes. And the second thing, they have 2 world music halls, two major music halls, and they have a large comprehensive music library that you could choose from. That's in TCU, and LSU, we realized that it is one of the nation's most comprehensive music program, and they offer a bachelor's from bachelor's to doctorate degrees in music. So if you're interested in getting a degree in music, they have good offers over there. And thank you, and I'll hand it to Jeannie.
Okay. So, I'm Jeannie, and I'm just going to quickly review findings and conclusions based on our primary and secondary research. We learned through our primary research that the majority of St. Ed students and faculty are, they don't play instruments, but it's not by that much, and many who don't play instruments would like to. We learned that for the most part, students and faculty are aware of the program and that you can earn credit hours through music department classes. The majority of students and faculty are interested in extracurricular activities, but the majority are not interested in being involved with the music department directly. However, of those that are interested in the music department, weekends would be the most convenient time to hold music department activities. The best place to hold music department events is at Joe's Coffee Shop, just for convenience again. The most effective method to inform students about music department activities and events, or just information about the department in general, is on Facebook. The best place to post information on campus is on the bulletin boards, followed closely by in actual classrooms. And the most popular recommended change by students and faculty to the music department would be to add additional music styles or to offer a music major. The most prominent finding through the secondary research would have to be that the music departments or the schools of music at these schools are already established, so they don't have to spend that much time on recruitment. It's mostly just through established reputation and results by producing students. So I don't have too much to say about that, unfortunately. But so I'm gonna hand it over to Diego for the recommendations.
I am Diego and refer to the recommendations. According to the data collected, we found out that there's like a large portion of students that are interested in extracurricular activities, but not necessarily related to the music department. So the first recommendation I would say is to create new jobs or positions in the music department, like related with the management, marketing, or advertising for students. The second recommendation we have is to add more styles. Probably if you can recruit more people, adding more styles of their preferences. Then change the practice times and event times to weekends, because most of the data collected that we got from that is that most students are free during the weekend, so they can participate more. And the next recommendation would be to create a schedule of events and shows at the beginning of the semester or at the beginning of the year, so the students can be informed with anticipations over the shows and the events that are going on through the semester or the year. And the third one is to create bulletin boards with a new image for the music department, and include there the show schedule, so anytime you're walking through the campus, you see those bulletins and you know what's going on, you know what date it is, so you have better information about the events. I'm gonna hand it to Jaren.
Okay, and to summarize what we covered today, my name is Jaren Smith and we're Jazz Club. The problem we were faced with solving was increasing recruitment and participation within the music department through primary research conducted with the distribution, collection, and analysis of surveys, and secondary research performed by looking at other university music departments as examples. We were able to draw conclusions and make several main recommendations for the music department, and these recommendations were to add other styles of music, add a music major, possibly add administrative positions so people that don't play instruments can still be involved with the music department, because we saw a lot of kids still want to be involved with extracurricular activities. And lastly, just to increase the flexibility in practice. And I'd like to thank you all for listening, and if there's any questions.